What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And hell, evidently, has frozen over. I picked up a ShaqJam cabinet when Best Buy had these things on sale. $300 off is nothing to sneeze at. I had an additional $100 worth of savings because I had a gift card, so for 300 bucks, this was a pretty good deal. And I do enjoy the form factor. It could be my favorite form factor from Arcade1up, that XL size, that 19-inch monitor. But there's only 3 games that were available in this form factor. Now, one is a Pro at $1,000. I'm just not going to pick that up. But I did get the XL Golden Tee cabinet, and that was a great cabinet. I still have it. I still enjoy it, but it did have its share of issues. So some of those issues are going to be prevalent with your new ShaqJam cabinet. So let's say you just picked your cabinet up, you saved a bunch of money, but you want to make it a little bit special. You want to take it to the next level. And I think with these modifications, this could be, given that you like the game, make this the perfect Arcade1up cabinet. So here are the top 3 modifications that you must do to your ShaqJam Arcade1up XL cabinet. Now, these modifications are going to be listed from least expensive to the most expensive. So let's take a look at the cheapest option. The number 1 issue you're going to have to correct on your ShaqJam cabinet, and it's going to be the backlight for the marquee. Now, this is the biggest marquee that Arcade1up has ever produced, and while the marquee itself looks pretty good, the light bar they're using just doesn't do it justice. It's the same 6 LED setup that they've used since Big Blue. And especially when you consider the fact that Arcade1up steps down the 12 volts supplied from the PCB to 9.5 volts, it just doesn't have enough power to really shine and light this thing up the way that it should. So my solution was actually free for me, and it could be for you, depending on what you have laying around the house. I used about 2 feet of white LED light strip that I had left over from another project, and I simply replaced what I had. I did remove the little board that contained the resistors so that I could get a full 12 volts on this light strip. I put a little bit of hot glue in the corners to keep it secured down. Also, I put a little bit of hot glue on the wires to make sure that I had a little bit of insulation. And once I did that, this thing really lit up. It's definitely the way to go. And like I said, it could be free for you, but even if you had to purchase the LED light strip, you can buy 16 feet for about 15 bucks off Amazon. So that's definitely a great upgrade and a hell of a price. Okay, so the number 2 issue you're going to have to fix on your ShaqJam cabinet could be the least expensive or the most expensive, depending on how much you have to pay for the replacement part. And if you've seen my video on my Golden Tee XL cab, you know where I'm going with this. It is a replacement monitor. The TN monitor on these XL cabinets just does not cut it. The left and right viewing angles are pretty rough, and it's slightly forgivable if you're talking about the 1-player game on the Golden Tee cabinet, but when you're talking about a 4-player cabinet, you can't have any issues. You can't have any off-angle viewing issues with a 4-player cabinet. It's just inexcusable, and of course this cabinet is really no exception. So the monitor that I use is a Dell 1917S. This is the one that I went with. I only paid about $71 shipped from eBay. Like I said, the price is going to vary based on where you get it. Hey, you may even be able to pick it up locally, and this could end up being maybe your cheapest modification. But it's definitely a modification you want to make. We're basically going to get this monitor, decase it. We just want the LCD portion inside, remove all the cabling, all the bracketry, all the wiring, and you're going to swap it out for the stock monitor in your ShaqJam cabinet. This is pretty much a plug and play, pretty easy solution, just as long as you're careful. And remember to take special note of the location of your LVDS connector, the red wire. Make sure you take note of where that is. If you swap that, you're going to burn up your monitor, and you're going to be mad at me. Alright, so finally, the number 3 issue you're going to have to deal with, and the most expensive thing on the list, is going to be the front of the cabinet. The eye panel is just unforgivably ugly on this cabinet. Now, I know Shaq being part of the branding is a big deal for Arcade1up, but you put Shaq on the side, you put Shaq on the control panel. I think that was plenty. I think that was enough, and it surely didn't warrant losing that molded coin door, one of the few things that everybody universally loves about your product. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the molded coin door, an official Arcade1up coin door. Now this could very easily be the most expensive. This one actually cost me more than my replacement monitor at about $80, but this did come with the hardware. Now you may be able to get around this issue if you've got an older cabinet and you just want to maybe rob one of those coin doors off. Well, that's fine, but for me, I didn't have that option, so I had to purchase a coin door. And while I could have just put the coin door on, that would have been fine, I thought I'd go ahead and take it up to the next level, and let's go ahead and black out the entire front of this cabinet. The eye panel, listen, it's just too gaudy, it's just too much, and I found that when I put my coin door in the middle, it just doesn't look right. So I'm going to go with an all black vinyl coating. We're going to completely cover this thing after we make some marks. Now we're going to have to take note of the location of the support beams inside this cabinet. You don't want to have to drill through multiple pieces of wood. It's just not going to work out for you. So what I did is I mocked up the eye panel, put it in place. I marked where all those cross sections were. I think they're K, their parts numbers are K, I believe, but they're the cross sections. You want to go ahead and mark those with a pencil and then remove the eye panel, take note of that. And then I have an extra template that I have laying around, one that I made when I added these coin doors to other cabinets from Arcade1up that didn't originally come with those coin doors. I used my template to mark everything up, drilled my holes, and I also drilled a couple extra holes because I figured while I'm at it, why don't we go ahead and add a retro 530 light up coin door kit for these coin doors. I mean, it's just the best thing to do. I mean, it's the cheapest, not the cheapest, but at only 20 bucks, it's really not that bad. So after I did that, it was time to go ahead and apply all the vinyl, cut out all the holes that I had drilled, trim all the vinyl off on the sides, and I got to tell you, covering this thing up and going all black makes a huge difference. Now, once you put your eye panel in place, now it's time to go ahead and install the coin door. But before we do that, I'm going to have to go ahead and remove the center posts on my lit coin door. It's just not going to be, I'm not going to be able to use those holes because of one of the cross braces. So once I did that, I simply bolted it on, installed my lit coin door kit with a little bit of hot glue, finished assembling the cabinet, and now it's time to step back and look at all our hard work and see if it actually paid off. Well, I think the results speak for themselves. This cabinet looks really good. Now, I think the proportions are still a little bit off with that marquee. It's just a little bit too chunky. I think it's a little too tall. I think if they slim that down some, the proportions would be really, really nice on this cabinet. The look of the cabinet makes so much more sense now. Blacking out the eye panel, adding your coin doors, really lighting up that marquee, and then of course having a monitor that is suitable. I mean, having a BOE monitor just makes all the sense in the world. There's no reason to suffer with that TN monitor. It just doesn't make any sense. But when you add these three things together, I think it makes for a really nice cabinet. Now, we could have maybe added 2 coin doors, but at about 80 bucks a pop, I wasn't going to do that. So, but you could definitely do that if you want to swing to the fences and try to be a little more authentic. But I think this definitely nails the look that I was going for. And listen, when you consider the fact that I got this cabinet for 300 bucks, adding a couple $100 more, I'm still cheaper than the purchase price of one of these cabinets at full retail. Alright, so that's my top 3 modifications that you must do for your ShaqJam cabinet. But what do you think about this? Let me know in the comment section below. If your modification did make the top 3, I want to hear about it. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the channel. Y'all have a blessed day, and I will see you next time.